I'll have what I'm looking at, you should be looking at. You can see, there's some cover pages, some initial pages that I'll go back and cover. This is the first page of the script. So the folks' names are centered. The dialogue is flush left. The initial stage direction of a scene is, there's a center line here, as you can see. So you can see that the character names are off of the center, and the first stage direction is off of the center, and that upper header. And then up here, this refers to Act 1, Scene 1, Page 1. And obviously those change as the scenes change. Internal stage directions look like that. And we'll talk about when to capitalize pronouns and so on. Then, when you're cueing a song, you want a page break before you go into the lyrics. The lyrics start on their own page. And you want to cue the number of the song you're about to do and the name of the cue, which you want to put in bold and then close the parentheses. We'll go over that a number of times. You don't have to absorb all of this first time. This is a little bit of an overview, and then we'll go back and pick up the details. Then the lyrics are on a page all to themselves. If there is dialogue after the piano starts, after the band kicks in, it would go here on the lyric page. If there's internal dialogue, it would go here on the lyric page. Think of the lyric page as what's happening, what am I listening to while the music is going? Whether they're singing, whether they're pantomiming, whether they're speaking, that all goes on the lyric page. The lyrics are as much as you can. If you want to indent them according to the form. For instance, that's the first A, that's the next A. The B section is indented, and then the A, so that all the A's line up to the same indentation. And the B section is indented. If you have a C section, it is here. If you have a D section, it is here, and so on. If you have so many sections that you wind up having lyrics that look like that, you can start going, back over, and maybe your D section lines up with your A section. At some point, the formatting isn't going to help you be clear. Then after the lyric, there's a hard page break, and we go into the music. I won't go over all the details here now. We'll catch that when we get into the detail section. But the highlights are, watch me zoom in here a little bit. The cue before the song begins is called the cue here, and you write the dialogue, a piece of a sentence and a half, a little bit, just to alert the music director. Oh, we're about to go. So that precedes the cue. Then dialogue that happens while the music is going on, happens over the music and is above the first staff here. All the dialogue goes above the first staff. The character who's singing gets their name inside of a box with a colon. And if you're really anal, you want the box to line up with the edge of the stem of the note. There's an initial description that describes tempo or mood or feel or groove, nostalgic, march, aggressive salsa, that kind of thing, and then a tempo marking. Dynamic markings, etc. I won't go over all of the details of a piece of music. Chord symbols go above the piano of the top staff unless there's more than one person singing, in which case the chord symbols go above the piano. The credits look like that. Music and lyrics. The book writer, poor book writer, doesn't get credited inside the score. They get credited on the very first page. Let me talk a little bit about the running pages. This is probably way down here. Can you see that there's a 5 there? There are, once you integrate the script, it goes a little bit of dialogue, then lyric page, then music. Dialogue, lyric, music, then the next cue, dialogue, lyric, music, the next cue, dialogue, lyric, music. And then you have running page numbers here at the bottom. So that this refers to the running page that includes the script, that includes the lyric page. It gets confusing because there are a bunch of page numbers. There's page numbers in the book. There's page numbers in the score. And there's page numbers in the integrated version. So let me talk a little bit about the integrated version. There's 2 different ways to think about the manuscript that you are creating. One, the script that you're sending to the producer who's considering looking at it, in which case the script and the score are separate documents. They're not integrated. Because more often than not, the producer is just going to be reading the script and the lyrics and not following along with the score, or then when they go to listen to the music, then they pull out the score. It's not integrated. So then there's no running page numbers involved. You don't have to deal with that. The score has its own page numbers, and the script has its own page numbers. But when you integrate them, you want to do that for rehearsal, you want to do that for development, for workshops, in early goings, so that when you've got it in front of actors and music directors and choreographers and stage managers, there's no flipping back in the book. It's not like we get to the end of the second song, and then we have to flip all the way back to get to scene 3. And then when we come to a song, we gotta flip forward and do the third song, and then flip back to get to the scene 4. That's why you integrate them. That's why it goes book, lyric, music, book, lyric, music, book, lyric, music. I'll talk very briefly here about the physical ramifications of that. Because we live now in this hybrid digital world and hybrid paper world. In the paper universe, when you're in a room and everybody's got physical scores and physical scripts, you want to give the actors who don't really read music the ability to just pull out the music and not lose any information. So all the dialogue of the lyrics needs to exist outside of the score. And you want the actors who read music and don't really care about the lyric pages to be able to pull the lyric pages out, because they're not going to be looking at those. So you want all the information about what's happening while the song is going to be in the score. That means all the dialogue needs to be in the score. All the lyrics need to be in the score, so that the people that are pulling out the lyrics are not left behind, and there's no dialogue left on the lyric page. It's in the score. So there's consequences of preparing for an actor to pull out a lyric page or pull out a piece of the score, the song. So think about it. You don't want them to pull out the song and lose on the back side of the last page of the song, let's say, winds up on the right-hand side. You don't want the book to continue on the back side of the song. So that they pulled it out, they've lost the first page of the next part of the book. So you need a blank page there. And I'll tell you in a sec how to do that. Same thing for the lyric page. If you want you don't want the music to start on the backside of the lyric, so you want double-sided copies. And therefore think of the book section to show up in an even number of pieces of paper. So it's going to be page 1 and 2, front and back, and 3 and 4, front and back, 5 and 6, front and back, 7. And so you'd need to put in a blank page 8 so that it prints on double-sided. It prints on the back side of page 7, which has some stuff on it. Page 8 just has the running page number on it. And then the lyric page starts on the right-hand side, starts with page 9. And if it's only on one page, it all fits on one page. Page 10, you don't want to be music. You need to insert another blank page. So the way to think of that is, think of the dialogue in units of even number pages. And once the dialogue, every packet, the lyric packet, and the score packet, and the dialogue packet needs to come in even number of pages. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And you can double check that before you go to the printer and print them by making sure that therefore the lyric starts on an odd numbered page. And the score starts on an odd numbered page. And the next section of book starts on an odd numbered page. You can do that physically. You can also do it with PDF integration program. It takes a little practice, and it's easy to get mixed up. It's easy to get fronts on backsides and so on. And so I suggest you integrate the whole thing, book, lyric, music, book, lyric, music, book, lyric, music, and then do the running pages. Have the PDF program insert running pages. And then you can double check. You can say, oh, wait a minute, song number 7 is beginning on an even number of pages. Something's wrong here. And you go back and figure out which packet doesn't have an even number of pages. So once you've assembled that, you got a PDF, it's all good to go. You can print that physically in the room. Woohoo, good to go. Nice job. Good integration. For those people in the room now who are on electronic devices, you can see that they have to flip through a bunch of blank pages. They'll go book, lyric, blank, music, blank, book, lyric, blank, music, blank. So what you want to do is, after you've done the running pages, for the digital folks, make yet another copy and remove the blank pages, but leave the running pages. So that's going to mean that the running pages have some, numbers missing in it. It's going to go from page 117 to 119. But that's okay because there's nothing on it digitally. That way, everybody in the room, the designers, everybody has the same running pages to refer to in rehearsal. But folks on their electronic devices don't have to flip through unnecessary blank pages. All right, that was it's like you can see here, for example, here, this piece of music ends on page 7, and there is a blank page 8. So this is for a printed copy. The digital version would lose page 8. We would delete that, and the next page would be page 9. And you can see the next page is going to be blank because it ends here. It's going to be blank page 10, which you would print just fine, but in a digital copy, you'd remove that. Then there's page 11, and I'll bet page 12 is going to be blank as well to make sure the lyric pages come out in even number of packets. That would be fine for printed copies. You'd remove it for the digital copy. Then on to the score, 13, 14, 15, 16, etc. Let me talk a little bit about what happens when you get to the second act, because there's some more page numbers that have some consequences here. And she's gone. Act 2, okay? This is a very short musical, apparently. It's 33 pages long. Sorry, I'll come back to this, texting underscoring. We'll talk about how to deal with underscoring. So Act 2 begins page numbering all over again with page 1. The reason being, a producer or stage manager wants to look at, when they're flipping through, we're on page 12 where they are in the second act. You know, if it says, okay, everybody, page 118, but it's only the second minute of Act 2, that's confusing. So you restart the page numbers, but the running pages continue. All right, let me back up to that underscoring. There's no lyric here. Nobody's singing here. But it has the same kind of thing. There's a cue, there's an opening description. Everything else is the same, except you see that dialogue. That's here, dialogue. He's reading off of a text, which is why the dialogue turns out "im free tonight." After all, is the dialogue, but it's over the score. And you want occasionally to put in relevant stage directions. Not all stage directions belong in the score. Some do. Ones that kind of guide the action or might have a musical consequence. You can see there's a little bit of music that is referring to tick-a-tick-a-tink. That's where he texts. He doesn't text, up here. He texts there is where the composer wants that to happen. All right, that's an overview of look. Let me now look at the very opening pages so that you can see the. So name of the musical, and the credits go there. Book, yay! Book gets credit. Book music lyrics. Generally in that order. You'll find other conventions, but that's well enough established that you might as well file that. Cast, time, and place. You can, if you want, to list, Kylie, age 19, youthful, optimistic, soprano, that kind of thing, or just leave their names. That's up to you. Time, if there are multiple times, you list multiple times. Places, multiple places. So that's page 2. Musical numbers. I told you, this is a very short musical. It's got barely one song in Act 2. So you want the cue number. You want the name of the song. ... leader. You want this to be flush right here. With who's singing it, or, I can make this a little bit bigger now. Who's singing it, or is it instrumental? And then the script and the score. Let me explain what these numbers mean. This is the running page numbers, right? Integrated script and score. That was what's on the bottom. And you'll notice that each song begins on an odd number page, 5, 13, 21, 27, 23. The script column refers to the number that is in the upper right-hand corner of the script. That script number refers to the page in which that bold stage direction appears. It refers to this page, page 2. It refers to, it refers to this page, page 4. Page 4, okay, yeah, so it's the upper right number. Upper right of the bold cue. And then lastly, vocal ranges. I'll zoom in on that to make it a little bit easier to see. You want to say the character and their vocal quality, soprano, baritone, light baritone, and their range, with a little line in between. Notice that in musical theater, we don't use bass clef. We don't use this one. We use this the treble clef with an 8 below it, an ottavo clef. Sometimes known as a tenor clef, but that's not quite accurate. The tenor clef is not, it doesn't have the ledger line in the same place. So, but it's the treble clef with an 8 below it. Okay, that is an overview, graphic overview of the format guidelines. I hope you enjoyed that.